What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. Hope everybody in Florida stays safe. I think the hurricane still bad, but I think it came in less than what we were predicting. Not we, like I was sitting there predicting a hurricane, but what the what was said at least on TV of what they thought. So hopefully everybody minimal to no damage, and hopefully everybody's okay with that and still healthy and feeling good. But CPI coming in a little bit hot. We got Albert in the house though. We got Anna. Good morning to you. Good morning to Cheryl, Chris, Georgia, Jackie's. Good morning to Jay, Jeff, Joe, Martina, Mike. We got Rick in the house. Good morning to Rob, Shane. We got Tim up bright and early. All my people out in YouTube land. Good morning to all of you. We got Jeffrey in the house. Jeffrey Fitzsimmons. It's like Fitz was what, the quarterback? Was it Buffalo at one point? Levi, good morning to you. Jeffrey says, you ask all the watchers all the time, but are there any tickers you want to look at or show? Ooh, good question. Good question. Um, I know what is the hot tickers that I would like to watch. I have, yeah, well, I'll actually go to that. David's in the house. Good morning to you. And we got all my lurkers in the background. Hit that like and subscribe button. Jeffrey's hitting me with the hard questions out of the gate. I have my set of stocks that I trade that I look at the most. So like during the live trade room, I'm only really changing. I have like 8 screens on TOS, like 8 charts. I only really change, go back and forth between like 2 or 3, but like Nvidia, I'll keep up all the time. I'll keep up Tesla all the time, AMD all the time. So I'm always looking for trades on those. Those are the ones I'm just comfortable with. And then for the most part, if there's anything in the news, which would be Tesla today, and that one's again already on the screen, but Tessie, any trades that I'm currently in, I'll kind of watch, and then I'm looking for uh there's a couple others. DocuSign is the one I'm scoping the most lately for some reason. Not sure why, but that's the one I'm looking at. But good question. But if you guys got other tickers, let me know, and we'll definitely look to cover those. We got SPY with a little bit of a gap down, hot CPI, but everybody relax. It's okay. So take a breather. Take a breather. We had a massive bull day today. The CPI came in about 0.1% off of the estimate across the board, though. So it's still a little bit to the hot side. Not great for the market, but we do have a little pullback. Look for resistance from yesterday's VPOC 576.78. To the downside, we're looking for some kind of support. Essentially at the low of yesterday, that would be 572.70. If we get a little bit past that, we got 572.16. So pretty good room to the downside. Not a lot to the higher side unless we break out. What does this mean for the market? The CPI number going forward from here, outside of just a simple day trade, I don't think anything. I don't think it means anything. I was saying this yesterday too. I don't know if it was the swing room, the day room, both rooms. I get so confused, but I didn't think the CPI was going to really matter too much. I think we're going to brush it off. I think PCE is going to be the bigger number to focus on, and the job number is going to be, I think, huge. So, but nonetheless, we do have some kind of effect. Probably buy the dip opportunity with that breakout that we had yesterday. If we could pull back a little bit more, and maybe today is not a crazy day, maybe the CPI hot CPI prohibits us from just making new higher highs today. I'm not sure. I'm not even going to write off the new higher highs today. But maybe a little rest inside day, let some of those moving averages start to catch up a little bit further. We just had a pretty big breakout day, and if we close inside today and then we look to push tomorrow, that'd be decent. I think that's still a decent setup. So we'll see what today wants to bring. Otherwise, we've got some levels to look for, and support is a lot further out than the resistance. So we do have a little bit, unless you think we're going to break the all-time highs today, which I wouldn't blame you for that assumption. But otherwise, you have better risk reward to the downside slightly, going against the grain. We got Qs underneath yesterday's high, so that one's pulling back too. You do have support a little bit closer on this one. So support is 489.65. To the resistance side of everything, got 492.79. We're just about smack in the middle. Maybe if we get some opening panic selling from a tenth of a percent of a miss on CPI at open. We could dip first and then see if there's a buy opportunity, I think, later today. But I'd still stay overall bullish. I don't think my outlook really changed. Georgia says bullish or bearish on CPI. The CPI is bearish. The CPI number, it did come in hot, so it was a miss. So inflation it did creep up a little bit, but it's not a big concern. So for overall for the economy for the market, it's not a number the market wants to see. So it's bearish in that aspect. Is it going to change anybody's longer term perspective with a point one miss on CPI? I don't think so. So I think there's going to be spots where people come in and they do look to buy the dip. So overall, I think you're going to get a battle between the Bulls and Bears. I don't think it's going to be a decisive winner on either side, and that probably causes a little bit to the chop. I would assume. So I'm not looking for a huge breakout day today. Nothing too crazy. First ticker I see is MU Micron. We do have two swing setup that we did in the afternoon room, the swing room yesterday. And I think you guys got Johnny in the swing room today. So we'll see if there's any new fun setups coming in there. But we got Micron, a little bit of a gap down, nothing too crazy again, still inside yesterday's candle. The market was rallying like crazy yesterday. Obviously, Micron didn't get that same reaction. You're still holding good levels. We haven't come down fully. We tried. We didn't get down there, but I'm looking for like $100.03, somewhere in that zone. If it comes down a little bit lower, I think that would be your target to the downside. You have to watch this hammer again. It's going to be, I think, a little choppy just being inside day. You don't really have great risk reward either direction. So probably a little chop fest. That being said, resistance is right above you, 101.33. So if you get bid up at the open, watch that zone. We start breaking out. Okay, maybe it's another play back into that 200, which should be good resistance, 102.19. If you start getting rejected at that 101.30 number, see if there's a little bit more downside, which would take us into that $100.03 mark, but you still have that 50 EMA kind of supporting you. So not a huge range in both directions. Again, unless you think you're going to break out of some of those ranges, then you're getting in early and to the downside on MU. If you start to break, I think the next level, 97.35, and you got the 20 EMA coming into that one too to possibly prop it up a little bit. Actually, I do have a level there too, 98.83. So it's still looking weak. I don't see the strength coming into Micron yet. But after that big gap up, big nice little pullback, retest, consolidation, we might need a few more days of consolidation before we actually get some kind of a break on that one. And maybe, I don't know when the earnings are. Yeah, we just had earnings, so we got a while for that. So let's see if we get a couple more days, and then we might have a better idea on MU. For the swing trade purpose, though, so you're asking for swings. I think if we could start breaking out of this hammer, so I go something bullish above yesterday's candle, is a nice hammer. And then I want to throw my stop immediately below here, but give it below that green candle somewhere. Maybe go a little wider underneath that big red candle. So throw a stop somewhere right around here. That's how I'd play that. You have the opportunity. That should be your retest. We almost retested, didn't quite get there. But if you get this breakout above yesterday's candle, it is a good hammer. That would be the retest. You're trapping a couple extra bears. You're going to have resistance on this one, not too far away. 107, I mean 107, 103.77. You got your 100 at 104.78. But besides that, and again, that would be kind of us trying to make a new higher low, higher high, and then you probably have targets at least to about 108. So not a bad swing. Amazon, AMZN. Julie's in the house. Good morning to you. All right, we got Amazon. Good gap up. Retrace gap. Doing something different than the market today at news. Oh, yeah. What is it? Prime Day deal again? When is that? Is that today? I think I saw a commercial on it, but then I saw a Target Circle deal too. So everyone's just clobbering those deals this week, I guess. So Thursday, it's Prime big deal days. Okay, so don't be confused with Amazon Prime small deal days. You want to try to avoid that one, just stick with the big one. Just wait. 1 billion by snapping up deals on everything from electronics. Is that today? Is this today? I don't even know. I am the least shopping enthusiast ever. If I buy just enough to stay alive, I'm proud of myself. That's about it. But good gap up here. I don't know if is that because of Prime deal we're getting a gap, or is there other news involved? Who knows? But this is a retest gap. I don't know if we fully on retest this one. It is a good gap though. But 185.30 would be your full on retest. I don't think we get down there. Look for good support. I do expect some pullback. So look to see if like 185.17, maybe 185 even could hold. Was 185 even? Not 185 even. Hold on. Hold on. 186.40 would be by no, 186.14 is my first spot that I would look for some kind of safety. If not, then you probably are going to get this 185.56 and maybe try to hold out for that 185. But it is a little bit of a retest. They've been in the struggle bus recently. It is starting to curve up a little bit. Wave count wise, it does look like we're probably trying to start a wave five. Definitely clicked the wrong button there. Hold on. Wave five. This could be some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4. You get some kind of wave five, either double top or one new higher high into that 200. Would make some sense. But even if you want to try to play this wave, I think you're waiting for a slightly better price. Just slightly. Nice little gap though. Doing something different than the rest of the market too, which I like. You got Nike. Nike. Also gapping up a little bit, so retail maybe a little stronger today. You're gapping right into the 20 EMA. I also have resistance on this one, 83.50. This is also a retest gap. I think this is probably a fade at open. This one probably comes all the way back to retest this 82.74 zone, I would assume. And then yeah, I wouldn't go long on this one. You do have this first resistance. You have the 20, you have the 100 above you, and then you got some solid levels. I would say probably 83.91. So I think you're limited on the upside again, unless you think this thing for whatever reason is just going to jump up and close this gap. Even to that extent, your stretch target in that zone will be 85.90, but looks decent. Nice little double bottom potentially with a higher low. Again, if you're going to try it, see if you can come in a little bit lower, 82.74, 82.75. You swing trade, you're probably looking to get your stop down to like 79.89. And then with enough time, hopefully you get through that on Nike, but pretty decent gap up again. It is doing something different. Emily says it was the last 2 days. I missed the whole thing. Uh, I guess I'm not. I guess I'm not part of that big gap on Amazon. I guess I'm not part of it. Tesla. Somebody confirm. I think they said the Tesla. What do they call it? We Robot event. I'm like, we speak like Tarzan. Um, yeah. Is that 7? Yeah. Is that 7 p.m. tonight? But that's 7 p.m. Pacific time, I think. So is that 10 o'clock Eastern? I don't think that's during the day. I thought it was during the day, but the article that I just read before hopping on, because I was like, when is this thing? How much is going to be affected? It said it was only 7 p.m. Pacific time. So somebody confirmed that, because if it would still be today, but obviously it won't be affected, like the stock won't be affected besides what people are guessing it's supposed to be. Yeah, 7 p.m. So really this is going to be a play for tomorrow. Yeah, this is gonna be a play for tomorrow. Any movement today is gonna be all the times I've seen are after the market. Yeah, so it's happening today, but I don't think the stock, besides anticipation, is going to affect it. So it's not gonna be like we're in the trade and then Elon says something and the stock goes crazy. So you should have some pretty normal flow. Otherwise, the higher side on this one, I would look for resistance around 244.56. To the lower end of that, it's 239.68. We did hit that perfectly yesterday. We've also hit the last VPOC to the higher side, so it can get a break either way, or I hate to say this, but do absolutely nothing until until the market kind of opens. The one interesting thing, obviously, by the end of today, you could make your decision to play it into tomorrow for a gap up or gap down. I'm assuming that you're going to get some kind of gap in either direction. Today, maybe not as fun as we might think it is. That being said, I think if we sell off, I would like to see a big sell off on this one. I would love to see us break this 239.72. I would love for us to just start crushing down to 230 because I think I would probably take some calls or buy some shares if we could get down to this 230 by today and with hopes into it. If you think about the Apple conferences specifically, they do it religiously, but you get the buy up into the conference, and then after the conference, it's sell the news because everything's out. Here, it looks like people are almost a little bit worried we're actually selling off into that conference, and I think it might have a little reversal play. But we'll see how it goes. You're gonna have to make your decision by before 4 p.m. today if you're playing options. Otherwise, you do have a little extra time if you're playing shares. Today, we'll see. We'll see what today wants to bring. If we can break any of those ranges out. And again, if you break either side of those ranges, specifically to the downside, you have a more runway to go. To the higher side, you're still going to come in with resistance to probably 248.50, unless you have a crazy wild anticipation day, 258.06. So watch Tesla. But yeah, the conference is today, just after the bell. So you got some time for that one. So intradays, you're not going to get the whipsaw news. Let's see. We got Celsius. Yeah, you guys have been trying to sell me on the Celsius. So many of you. You're like, what about Celsius now? What about now? Is it good now? My question is, do you drink Celsius? If you do, okay, you're still in the running. If you don't, um, why are you so excited? I don't get it. It is a stock that is down a lot. I get that. You're back to 20 April 2023. So realistically, progression for the entire year, you've done nothing, but you've had some good moves. And I think this beautiful rapid pace to the higher side is probably what gets everyone interested on Celsius. You're not quite there, but you're starting to get to maybe a spot where you get some of this volume to your backside. And okay, that will give us a little bit of a runway up until probably about $40. That's a good move. We can get past that. I think the next target probably takes us to $50. Really good move. It is a stock that does some wild things. Valuation, I think, it's better. It's better than it was when it was at $70, $80, $90. I think it's still a high valuation for it. So I'm not adding it to the long term yet, and it's just me. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't see the same thing you guys do, but it's a retest gap for today. You are jumping across a lot of decent bearish volume days, so that's not bad. Watch this open. So we have our highest volume pretty much where we're opening. I think we're slightly above it, which would throw me into a bull case. Yeah, that would throw me a little bit more bullish. All right, let's look for a high wave candle on this one for a day trade. Let's get this one a little bit higher on the list. You guys love your Celsius though. You guys are like wired 24/7. Celsius now? What about now? It's already up 10% pre-market. So that's good if you're holding it. Targets to the higher side. I don't know where we could get to. The next stop I think would be $34. After that, you got 34.29. After that, you got 34.90. That's probably my stretch target for today. So I'm not sure if too much of this is out of the way. If this one wants to pull back a little bit further, we get a better setup. Look for support. Look for a first support around 32.41. A much better one would be $32 flat if you could get it. I don't think this one pulls back for a full-on retest 30.30. That would be a wild sell-off on that one. But we'll see how that one plays out. Give me a couple opening candles on it. Bryant says, morning, I hope I'm not too late. Time is perspective. Time is perspective. We still have 8 minutes for the bell, so you didn't miss the trading day. And I did save anything valuable, I'm gonna say, for the last 8 minutes. So I think you're good. You're good. We got Tenet Healthcare. Do we have a gap on this one? I don't really see a gap on it. So nothing too crazy on this one. Good close yesterday. I'd see if we could get maybe a small little pullback into 153.68, and then maybe we could get like a 153.44. Really good hammer, little high wave after some decent selling. Kind of came down for a double bottom. Nice little bear trap down here. I can make a case to go bullish on this one for a day trade. I don't know if I would take a swing on this one though. Yeah, it's a little too high for a swing. I need a bigger pullback. You got some decent support, I guess, that we just probably put in somewhere around 149.81. I'd like to see if that momentum could continue. You got a decent risk reward back to the higher side if you're throwing your stop somewhere underneath that hammer, 147.20 for a swing. Targets maybe up to like 163.59 for a swing. So you can make a case. You're going to run into that 50 EMA. You're going to run into that 20. But yeah, small little pullback. Otherwise, I do like that candle from yesterday. Nice strong close on it. AMD new AI chips event starts at noon. So forget about Tesla. And then we'll also get to NVIDIA and SMCI. I see those on the list too. Forget about Tesla. We don't got time for that one. Unless they want to do something during the day. They wait until 10 o'clock. I'm already snuggled up watching Teletubbies at that point. You got AMD, little gap down, so the event's gonna come out at 12. We'll have to watch that. Not a great open for it so far. So first resistance is gonna be 170.82. Then you got some major resistance starting to build in somewhere around 171.40. Look for support on this one. I think around 169.84. That's been a zone we've messed with twice. I think that can break down. Your targets to the downside probably about 167.71. So AMD, I kind of like to the short side. See if you get any kind of green candle first into any of those resistance. I think I could try to take a breakdown, and I kind of like it to the short side. Conferences at 12, so maybe be out by then, or at least have your stops at break even at that point, just in case. But maybe that would be a so. Let's go back to AMD real quick. AMD, as opposed to Tesla, this one has kind of run up into an event. I don't know if all been sitting there waiting for the AMD event the same way Tesla we have been. But regardless, we do have the event today. It's been a little bit weird and choppy, and yeah, we're making some progress to the bullish direction, but it's pretty awful way to get there. The day trading has been, oh, it opens, it collapses, does nothing, and then you get your final move. NVIDIA. And then during the AMD conference, I would also keep my eye on all these guys, NVIDIA, SMCI as well. Maybe even Qualcomm. NVIDIA is a gap down. It's hanging out at the very low of yesterday. I think this one probably gets bought up at open. I'm kind of hoping AMD also gets bought up at open. So now I got a case that I want the chips to run. Target on this one, I'd be watching for 132.39. We'll see what happens there. As long as we open inside yesterday's candle, if we open underneath it, I think we have less of a decent push bullish. Targets to the downside though, 129.42. So let's see if this again, we're also dealing with CPI. We're also dealing with a extremely bullish market. There's definitely buy the dippers. I think I would like to buy the dip on tech as opposed to anything else today. The question is, where does the dip actually come in? I mean, we're still in yesterday's candle, so nothing too crazy. Yesterday was a big retest gap, so we retested. We're hanging in. I would like to think this one gets bid up at open into this 132.50 zone, and then we have to see what happens there. Otherwise, if we reject that zone, I'm looking for targets down to probably 129.49. Anything past that, we're looking for like a 128.49. So not too much room on it, but not bad. SMCI, there's some SMCI. SMCI. Joe says Celsius is currently trading at a similar PE to a Monster. Okay. It did come down a little bit, so it's a lot better now than it was before, but they have to continue to grow. SMCI. It's a little bit of a gap and go bearish. Again, you're just in chop zone. We already got up here. We already retested. This was a big retest gap inside resting day. You're at the lows of yesterday. So again, maybe you have a little risk to reward if you don't break down yesterday's low. If you want to stay bullish, I get it. I probably would look for support around 45.03. So I would wait a little bit, I think. See if you get down to at least that. If you break through that, you probably have a decent short to 42.67, but right now you are sitting kind of Chopville. And I think that's a kind of a difficult trade. AMD is already dropping. Dang it. Dang it, AMD. NNE. That one's pulling back a little bit too. Nuclear energy. You're opening right into a support, still inside day candle. This is also retest. I think probably out of the gate, this one gets bought up. But look for resistance. Your first one about 1659. The next one after that, 1706. And then I think a really good day is 1745. But most likely, probably just hangs out in this range for today. I don't see anything too crazy. So buy low. And when I say low, as low as you could get to yesterday's low, that would be your spot to look to go long. Same thing if you get up to the high end of yesterday's candle, probably look to go short. Try to stay within that high wave candle, I would assume. Ready to get into an Intel swing. I have it set up. I have it set up, Mo. So my trade on it is this one. I forget, is it 1 point, I think it's a 1.5 R, but those are my numbers if you want to try it. I will adjust this trade if we come down lower. So today it looks like right now at the moment we're not getting filled. If this thing wants to break out, I got the order set up for 23.36. We're going to face a decent resistance around 23.90. Hopefully we can break through it. If this one wants to come down a little bit lower, I'm going to hold the liberty to look to maybe go long or if I get in there, but this we'd have to have a pretty decent pullback today. Otherwise, that is the opening bell. So you guys on YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. You guys are absolutely incredible. Be safe. CPI day. We'll see how this one wants to trade. See if the buy the dippers are here. And then we roll it into the last